So this is part one of our ultimate guide to a holiday in Florida, and this one will be going over flights. So that will be, of course, your airport choices. That be Manchester, Heathrow, or Gatwick being the main big three. Your airline options, maybe Virgin, British Airways, Norse, and TUI being the big ones from the UK. And just comparing all of those, such as Manchester versus Heathrow with Gatwick, which is the best choice overall, and Tampa or Orlando, which is the best airport to fly to, and what each of those airlines can offer. So all prices referenced in these guides are prices obtained in summer, just so that you're aware, because obviously prices will vary depending if it's Christmas, out in term time, all that sort of stuff. But for these guides, we'll be focusing on summer. So let's start off by having a deep dive into the airports, which you will have the option of using. Starting off first with the UK, which will be Manchester. So this one is surprisingly located in Manchester, about an hour and 53 minutes or 70 miles from Nottingham, an hour and a half from Birmingham, 80 miles, or 2 hours 45 minutes if you're a bit more up north in Newcastle area, 157 miles. The airport operates 320 to 650 flights a day, depending on the season of travel, with 2 to 3 of those on average going to Orlando itself. So for us, we'll be looking at Terminal 2, which have your operators such as British Airways and Virgin Atlantic. They have other carriers as well, such as Emirates, Qatar, TUI, and one for us as well, Jet2, EasyJet, KLM, Air France. And they do have another terminal, Ryanair, which of course is not relevant for us for this one. So food at terminals, of course, is always an important one. And there is, as I said, 2 terminals at the airport. We're only interested in Terminal 2 for this one, which of course is the newest airport as well. There is a great mix of food available here, such as a Great Northern Market, which serves a rotating set of street food vendors. A Bridgewater Exchange, which is your pub. You've got Archie's Burgers and Shakes, Wagamama's, Nando's, and Pot Kettle Black Coffee House, more of your sort of quick serve options. And of course, all terminals at Manchester also have grab and go options such as Costa, Starbucks, and Greggs. So your average rate for security at Manchester is usually 5 minutes. However, during peak travel hours, especially during the holidays, it can reach 15 to 25 minutes on average. But in worst case, which is mainly during August, at the weekend, can get anywhere from 30 to 90 minutes. So make sure you plan accordingly. We always recommend to get to the airports around 3 to 4 hours before your flight is due to take off, just to be safe. Of course, if you're staying overnight before, which we'll go on in a lot more detail later on, you can obviously adjust to suit. There is fast track available should you be inclined that way, which is £5.50 to £6.50 per person to, of course, get you straight through security. So the chance of delay at this airport runs at about 28.5%. It actually has the highest delay risk score in the whole country. So that could be something to bear in mind if you stress quite easily in terms of your flight being on time, or if you, of course, are on a tighter schedule. Now, I know walking distances in the airport will be important to a lot of you who maybe have mobility aids or just concerned about how far distances are, maybe if young children as well. So let's go and have a quick look at this interactive map, which is provided by Manchester Airport itself. So the main hub you will use is the Skylink walkway, which goes from the station, which is where your buses and trains, etc. will drop off. Where you'll go through the Radisson, following the mouse, which will lead you up here and straight into the terminal. As you can see, the multi-storey Terminal 2 is straight across from there. So using the Skylink, if you get off at the station, for all of this distance is an approximate 407 metres and will take you around 10 to 15 minutes to walk. And once you are in the terminal, once you've gone through your security, you will have anywhere from a 5 minutes to a 20-minute walk to get to your gate, depending on if you're at a closer gate or one of the gates which are more far away. So parking at the airport for your trip, this is also a big boy. So this is based on pre-booked, because if you turn up on a day, it is an absolute mick. So I would strongly recommend you don't, because it's about double the cost of, if you don't pre-book. So all these prices are based on pre-booking for 2 weeks in August to give you a idea of price. So you have a couple of options. You have the jet parks, which are a bus transfer to the terminal, which will cost you between £85 to £115 for your 2 weeks. You have the drop and go option, which is you drop your car at one of the parking structures, which then a professional will park it for you. This is £110 to £150 and is approximately a 15-minute walk away. You have your mid-stay options, which run from £140 to £180 and again are about a 15-minute walk away. You have your more premium option, which is your meet and greet, which is essentially you go right to the terminal, you drop off, and again, a valet will park your car for you and bring it back to you when you return. That will set you back around £150 to £200. Or you have the multi-storey car park option, which is £180 to £260 and is about 2 to 10 minute walk away. So if you're coming from a bit of a distance, you will want a hotel as well. So we'll go into a bit deeper dive onto this later, but just to give you an overlook. So a budget option, you will have the Ibis, which is a bus or drive to the parking, depending on, of course, whereabouts you are parking. They run you between £70 and £90, and again, depending on season. You have your mid-range options, which are usually a little bit close to the airport, some of which are in walking distance. Like the Clayton, you've got a Premier Inn and the Hilton, which will set you back £90 to £130. Then your premium option, which is Radisson Blu, which again, if you will remember on our Skywalk map, is smack bang in the middle of the Skywalk, which is a short, simple walk to the terminal, which will set you back anywhere from £140 to £180 a night. Next up, let's have a look at Heathrow. So this is located in Hounslow on the west side of London. This is approximately 2 hours 24 minutes or 128 miles from Nottingham. Just under 2 hours or 112 miles from Birmingham, and if you're a bit up north, it's 4 hours 48 minutes or 283 miles from Newcastle. The airport operates 650 flights a day, with approximately 1 or 2 of those going to Orlando. So the available airlines for us will be Terminal 3 and Terminal 5 will be the ones. So Terminal 3 is a One World Alliance members, but doesn't include British Airways in our case, which is important. This will carry users such as Virgin Atlantic and several independent airlines such as American Airlines, Cathay Pacific or Delta, Emirates and Qantas. But of course the one that matters is Virgin. And Terminal 5, which is exclusively dedicated to British Airways, which is of course what we'll be looking for. Because the terminal itself, we have 4 total terminals, but again we're only interested in 2, which is Terminal 3 and Terminal 5, as you'll see on the map on the screen. So Terminal 3, your food options will be Wagamama, Spontino Italian, and a Caviar House and Prunia Seafood. Your Terminal 5, you will have Gordon Ramsay Plain Grab and Go food, as well as sushi, burgers, pizza, which are available from there. You also have the Pilot's Bar and Kitchen, which will serve you breakfast, salads, and a lot of international classics. And of course, both terminals have a range of simpler grab-and-go options like Pret a Manger, Costa, Cafe Nero, and Black Sheep Coffee. So your average security wait time will run between 10 to 30 minutes, depending on when you attend. But at peak times can run anywhere from 45 to 90 minutes. So make sure you keep that in mind. As we always recommend getting there around 3 to 4 hours before your flight is due to take off. At Heathrow, there is Fast Track available, which runs you at £12.99 per person, in case you want to get rid of the stress of having to worry about the queues. So your chance of delay at Heathrow is 28%, so a little bit better than Manchester. So now if we were to have a look at the walking distances at Terminal 3, the bus will come and drop you off right here, which will then of course then go into the terminal. And then depending on which gate and stuff you're at, it could be up to 20 minute walk to get to and through security. Then of course if you are parking at a bus or one of the meeting locations and such. And once you've got through security, depending on which gate you've got, of course, because there are some very far away, meaning this lot and those, it can be anywhere between 5 to 20 minutes, again depending on your gate. So if we move on over here to Terminal 5, this one's a little bit easier. So the bus will stop in this area around here, which you will then be able to very simply just walk straight on in and get your flight, again depending on which gate you are at, anywhere between 5 to 25 minutes to get to your gate after security, or about a total for both terminals around 45 minutes total walking you should expect on your journey. So parking at Heathrow, which again we know is a very important part of the trip. Again, these prices are pre-booked for 2 weeks in August. You have a few options here. You have Heathrow Park and Ride Long Stay, which is a bus transfer to both terminals, which will run you £130 to £220. You have your official meet and greet, which will drop you at each terminal's parking garage at 5 to 15 minute walks from the airport. and will run you £220 to £350. You have your official valet service, which is right at the terminal, for £250 to £400. Drop your car off and someone will nick it and I'll go and park it for you. And then you have your slightly cheaper options, which are your off-site parking rides, such as the purple parking lot, which are a bus transfer and a small walk to the airport, which will give you run you even £80 to £170. So for hotel, we're going to a little bit more detail on all the hotels a bit later on. But to give you a bit of an idea, you have budget options such as Ibis, Premier and Travelodge, which is generally a little bit further away from the airport, requiring either a bus transfer or you driving to a parking lot after your stay. These will run you £60 to £100. You have your mid-range options, which are usually a little bit closer and some are within walking distance. These being the Holiday Inn, Crown Plaza and the Hyatt Place. These will run you £100 to £170. You have your premium options, which are right on the terminal, which is Hilton and Hilton Garden Inn, which will run you £140 to £250. And you have the luxury option, which is Sofitel right on the doorstep of Terminal 5, which will run you anywhere from 220 to 400 quid. So your third option from the UK is Gatwick, which is one of our largest airports. This is located in Hawley in South London. It's approximately 3 hours 3 minutes away from Nottingham, or 170 miles, 2 3/4 hours or 150 miles from Birmingham, and 5.5 hours or 322 miles from Newcastle if you're up north. It runs approximately 620 flights a day, with 2 to 4 on average going to Orlando. So for our flight options, we'll be using both terminals. So out of the North Terminal, which is primarily long haul, for us, it will be Norse and TUI Airways, but of course there's other ones such as China, Mauritius, Transat and EasyJet run out of this terminal. For the South Terminal, which is British Airways for us and TUI, alongside stuff such as Jet2 and Ryanair. So in terms of your food for the terminals, we'll be looking, of course, at North and South again. So for North, you will have the Breakfast Club, which surprisingly serves breakfast. You have Shake Shack, which of course serves milkshake and wings. Juniper & Co. British Food, which that's self-explanatory. Sonoma Healthy, which has a range of healthier, lower fat and low calorie options. You have Nicholas Culpeper and the Red Lion, which are both pubs. And then the South Terminal, you have Nando's, Wagamama's, the Flying Horse and the Beehive, which are your Spoons pubs. Then you have your Caviar and Prunia Seafood Restaurant. And of course, once again, both terminals have plenty of growing options, such as Pret A Manger, Costa, Cafe Nero, and Black Sheep Coffee. So for security, your average wait will run between 10 to 20 minutes, but during peak times can get upwards of 30 to 60 minutes. Fast track is available at the airport, anywhere between £6 to £8 per person, depending again on the time of year. The chance of delays at this one is one of the lowest so far, at 24.5% as well. So if we have a quick look at the walking at Gatwick Airport now, we'll start off with the South Terminal. So of course, depending on where you come in, the bus stop is around here, where you'll then have to get off, walk across the bridge and into the terminal. Of course, your parking lots here. There are some over here, of course, which you will then need to get the bus from to the terminal, as I say, which drops you off here. It is about 10 to 30 minutes from security in order to get to gates, again depending on which gate it is, because of course there's loads down there and there's loads of ones up here. You can expect to walk a total of about 40 minutes total to get to your gate. That's through security, from the parking as well. As I say, from the entrance it's about 5 to 10 minutes to get to your get to security from the bus depot. So if we have a look at the North Terminal, it is pretty much the same. You will get off the bus just here, which you will then head in, of course, and of course the parking here, and there is also sort of parkings around as well. Example up here, then Premier in. So once you're in again, it will be around 40 minutes total, 5 to 10 minutes for security, and then 10 to 30 minutes depending on which gate you are. Some of these gates are very far away. As you can see, you can go all the way up there, and you go all the way down here to go to some of the gates as well. So it can depend, again, whichever gate you are assigned to. So parking fees for Gatwick. These are again going to be pre-booked for 2 weeks in August. You have a couple of options. Once again, you have the official off-site park and rides, which are bus transfers to the terminal, which will set you back £80 to £140. Your official long stay car park, which will be again a bus transfer of approximately 5 to 12 minutes to get you there, running £110 to £180. You have the official meet and greet, which will drop you at a terminal parking garage, 5 to 15 minutes from each terminal. This will set you back £140 to £220. And then you have your premium option, which is your valet, which is right at the terminal doors, which will set you back £180 to £300. And for average hotel costs, we'll go a bit more of a deep dive into this later on, which gives you an idea. Your budget off-site accommodation will be Travelodge, between £55 and £85. Your mid-range options, which are a bit closer, some of them are walkable, most of them may still require a bus or car transfer. You have your Premier Inn, your Hampton by Hilton and Block Hotel, which will set you back £90 to £140. And your premium options, which is Sofitel and Hotel London by Hilton, will run you £130 to £200. So for your main flights into Florida, there are two main options. We're going to cover one in brief detail in another section, but the main two are going to be Tampa International and Orlando International. So I'll start off with Tampa International. This is located on George J. Bean Parkway in Tampa Bay, Florida, surprisingly. It operates 284 flights a day, of which 1 or 2 on average will go to the UK. For us, you have a couple of options for food, one of them being the main terminal and the airside terminal, as they call it, at Iside Terminal F, which we will be using. So your main terminal, you will have options such as Chick-fil-A, Hard Rock Cafe, PF Chang's and Starbucks. And in airside F, which is after security, so you have to go through security to access to your airsides. You have your Cafe by Miss N Place, Liquid Provisions, which is your bar, Cigar City, smoking bar. You have the tap room and a Buddy Brew coffee and the Gasparilla bar. And of course, all these terminals as well have a range of grab and go options for you to choose from. So available airlines from this one are from airside F, which are Virgin Atlantic and British Airways are your only options to get into this one. The average security wait runs at 10 to 20 minutes on average, but can exceed anywhere from 45 to 60 minutes during peak, so make sure you keep that in mind when you arrive. As we say, always recommend 3 to 4 hours before a big international flight to arrive. Your chance of delay is 20.2%, according to the statistics, which is considered one of the single most reliable airports in the entirety of the US, which is a very impressive stat. Let's have a quick look at the walking distances for Tampa International Airport. This is more necessary on your departure back to the UK, but on arrival, it will be as simple as getting into the main terminal building, taking the shuttle bus down to the rent-a-car centre. That is what, of course, you are picking up. You get your car from there. And on departure back, you will, depending on, again, what you are doing, you'll likely park in the rent-a-car centre down here from Tampa, which you will then need to get the bus all the way up to the main terminal building and then through security and to airside F. So it takes about 4 to 11 minutes to get to the nearest gates. That includes going through security and walking from the car park, getting the bus, all that shenanigans. And to get your furthest gate, it can take upwards of 20 minutes. I say Tampa International Airport is a lot smaller than compared to Orlando, for example. And when you arrive into Tampa, it will take you around 8 to 15 minutes, as I said, to walk out, get the bus down to here, and pick up your hire car. If it is, of course, the most important is distance to the parks and accommodation areas. So starting off, the distance to Walt Disney World is approximately 80 miles, or 129 kilometers, and will run you anywhere from an hour and 15 to an hour and a half. To Universal, it will be 84 miles, or 135 kilometers, 1 hour 20 to 1 hour 35. From US Highway 192, which is a western tourist area, you have 75 to 85 miles, or 121 to 137 kilometers, run you an hour and 15 to an hour and a half. And for International Drive, which is another one of your main accommodation hubs and tourist locations, 82 to 86 miles, or 132 to 138 kilometers, an hour and 20 to an hour and 35 minutes. But if you do any of these during rush hour, especially if you're on the I-4, it can run you an additional 15 to 30 minutes on your drive. So next up is Orlando International Airport, which is located on Jeff Fuqua Boulevard. I probably said that wrong, in Orlando, Florida. It runs 400 to 450 flights per day, of which 5 to 6 on average go to the UK. So your terminals which we'll be using are Terminal C, which will run Virgin, British Airways and Norse flights. And available in there, you'll have a range of different food options, such as Chick-fil-A, Cask and Larder, a Shake Shack for more quick service, a Sunshine Diner, Summer House and Wine Bar, and grab-and-go options such as Barney's Coffee and Tea and Starbucks. So your average security rate will run anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes on average, but of course in peak times can get up to 45 minutes to an hour. So make sure you adjust your schedule accordingly to that. Always recommend to arrive, as I said, 3 to 4 hours before. Your chance of delay is around 23.3%. So in case I'm not explaining it, the chance of delay is essentially your chance of getting delayed overall in terms of all the flights that ran in 2025. 23.3% of them on average were delayed more than 15 minutes. And finally, we have your walking distances approximate for Orlando International. So we will be using Terminal C. This will not matter depending on which flight company you use. So when you arrive, you will head to around here. Approximately, for some reason, this Google Maps is outdated. The parking garage is just here. If you have a rental car, or if not, then a train station and a taxi drop-off will be just here. From this area to the nearest gate, that includes going through security, will be approximately 8 to 18 minutes, depending, of course, on where your gate is. If you get one of the further away gates, it can be 11 to 25 minutes to get to your gate from the drop-off or car hire. And when you arrive into Terminal C, which all the major airlines do for the UK now, you will take approximately 10 to 15 minutes to get from your arrival gate to your baggage claim and then out the door to start your holiday. So distance to the parks, which of course is a key point to any trip. This is of course much closer than Tampa. With Walt Disney World Resort, you're looking 22 to 25 miles or 35 to 40 kilometers, around 25 to 35 minutes. For Universal, it'd be about 14 to 16 miles, 23 to 26 kilometers, or about 20 to 30 minutes. US Route 192, Disney Kissimmee area, of course, 25 to 30 miles or 40 to 48 kilometers, 30 to 45 minutes. And for International Drive, you'll have 10 to 15 miles, 16 to 24 kilometers, or 15 to 25 minutes. But of course, as I said with the previous one, you should add on at least 15 minutes to 30 minutes if you're doing any of these trips on rush hour, especially if you're going to use the I-4. So let's compare some flights, shall we? So all of these have been priced for summer between the 21st of August to the 4th of September, and for Christmas the 19th of December till the 2nd of January. They're also based on a family of 4 with 1 teenager and a child under the age of 9, all flying economy class with the cheapest direct flights possible where possible. There is a few which they aren't, which we'll of course get into. So first off, let's have a look at Virgin. So, flying from Heathrow to Orlando in August will cost you, say, for the family of 4, approximately £3,604.36. At Christmas, you will be looking at £8,681.39. Christmas is ridiculous. In case you've not already worked that out. Flying from Heathrow to Tampa will cost you £3,562.36 in summer. And for Christmas, you're looking at £5,963.36. And before we go any further, all of these flight prices were obtained directly from the provider's website. So you know I'm not making this up. So if you were to fly from Manchester in autumn direct to Orlando, August even, you would pay approximately £3,629.52. And if you flew at Christmas, it'd be £6,577.92. Now, Manchester to Tampa isn't possible direct. You would have to go via a diversion to New York and carry on from there. And it does take approximately 3 to 4 hours longer than if you were to fly direct. Of course, flying direct to Orlando or Tampa is between 8 to 10 hours, depending on the headwind that you get. So flying from Manchester to Tampa via New York in August is £3,874.32. And at Christmas, we were looking at £5,327.72. So just looking over those with Virgin, your best option will be to fly direct to Tampa in summer with £3,562. So we move on to British Airways. They're starting off with Heathrow to Orlando. In August, you'll be looking at £3,831.80. For Christmas, they do not operate a direct flight from Heathrow. That is exclusive to Gatwick. But you will have to go indirect via Dublin, which will cost you £9,212. No idea why that price was so insane, but it is. So, not that one. Heathrow to Tampa in August will cost you approximately £3,254.80, with Christmas setting you back £5,082.36. From Manchester to Orlando and Tampa via British Airways is not possible. They do not operate that route at Christmas or August. So from Gatwick to Orlando in August, it will cost you £3,831.80. Or at Christmas, £5,222.80. Gatwick to Tampa will be £3,254.80, exactly as it will be from Heathrow. And for Christmas, again, is the exact same price as it would be from Heathrow at £5,082.36. So the cheapest one from that one is flying direct to Tampa from either Heathrow or Gatwick for £3,254. So moving on to Norse. These only operate from Gatwick and do not fly to Tampa, so your only option is to fly direct to Orlando, which in August will cost you £2,655, or at Christmas £5,166. So Norse is the cheapest by far so far. And TUI, your option is to fly to Orlando Melbourne Airport, which is really small and about the same distance in size compared to Tampa, just as a reference. We're not going to go over that in any sort of detail because it's such a small airport, there's basically nothing in it. So for Gatwick to Orlando, using TUI would be £3,664. And if you were to fly from Manchester, it will cost you £2,852. So let's end this section off by looking at who is the cheapest. Of course, this is all subject to change, and it was just the way that I found it when I did the research for this video. So when you go and look, it may be different. Remember, always shop about to see what is the best deal. But first, we found that Norse was the cheapest by about £600 at £26.55, travelling in summer from Gatwick to Orlando. Second place was Manchester to Orlando Melbourne by TUI for £28.52, followed up by British Airways Gatwick to Tampa, or Heathrow to Tampa, depending on which you prefer, and then Virgin with Heathrow to Tampa. As again, could be subject to change, so make sure you do your own research for making that booking. So thank you very much for watching this section of our guide about all of your flight options to Orlando, Florida. And as I said at the beginning, don't forget to punch the like button, the comment down below, of course, subscribe to both channels. If you want to follow us on Instagram or Twitter or Shit Talk, they're all down below as well. If you want to go above me, you can join the channel as a member or get yourself some fire merch in our store. We don't have to do any of those. As long as you do one of the free ones, then you'll be all good. And in our next section, we'll be moving on to look at hotels and accommodation.